What is up, everyone? JD here. Hope you're all doing well today. Today I am bringing you another battle of the blades. First up, we're going to bring out the first contender, the Brian Brown Yeager. Who is going to be facing the Yeager today? This one I think is really interesting, and hear me out. Let's go through the blade battle before you turn your head away from this blade battle. Today's contender is going to be the Roxi 3. I know what you're thinking. A little bit smaller, a little bit different, but you're probably also thinking those blade shapes are very similar. Very nice steels, titanium frame locks. It might be worth checking this blade battle out. Let's go ahead and run through the steels first. The Roxi 3 has a 3.14 inch S35VN blade steel. The Yeager has a 3.5 inch M390 blade steel. In this particular category, I am definitely going to give the advantage to the Yeager. It has M390, which has higher edge retention, but it also has a satin hollow ground blade. It does feel very slicey. It feels very well done, but keep in mind, M390 is going to be more of a challenge to maintenance. Whether you're sharpening, whether you're resharpening, if you chipped it, it's going to be more of maintenance. It is going to eventually get thicker behind the edge, but you don't have as much of a sharpening choil as it looks like. Your sharpening, your plunge grind stops directly behind, and they dull directly behind here to allow you to get some type of finger in there for detailed work without landing on the blade. So it is not sharp all the way out to the edge, and the plunge grind is right behind it. This has a nice tall flat grind, but it's also a little bit thicker behind the stock on the Yeager than it is on the Roxi. You can see the Roxi is a little bit thinner, so it's going to stay thin for a long time even though it's not a hollow grind, so it's going to perform really well. The S35VN, we was doing that for a long time, and the heat treats and the performance of that steel have gotten really good feedback over the years, and I think it's going to be something that's overlooked as they convert to 20CV. But S35VN is still a great EDC steel. It's going to give you excellent edge retention. It's going to have great ease of sharpening and ease of maintenance when you're stropping it to keep it sharp long. Let's talk about the action. Access to the lock bar is okay on the Yeager, and it's fairly smooth. The detent's heavy, so if you have weaker hands or if you're battling with arthritis by any chance, it is going to be a little bit more difficult to operate. I think with the thumb stud, the hole is a little small, a little hard to access, and then it's a little high up for me with larger hands, so I do have to reposition my hand a little bit. The action though is, again, really good. Ceramic bearings, it feels smooth, a couple little shakes, and it shuts. Having said that, the Roxi has more scalloping out of the liner, very easy to access, has a lighter lock bar, so it is very easy to manipulate, and the detent's a little bit lighter while still being crisp, so it is actually really easy to deploy regardless of what deployment method you're taking advantage of on this knife. So action is actually smoother because of the slightly lighter detent, and it has better access to the lock bar, so I'm giving that to the Roxi 3. All right, let's talk about the actual ergos. Ergos feel good. They're fine on the Yeager. I believe if this was the flipper tab delete variant, it would probably be even better because I would be able to get all 4 fingers from my large hand onto the knife. It has a nice scallop section here that is okay. My middle finger when I'm back lands on a little bit weird when I choke up. I have all of this room here, and my ring finger starts to come into that section, so it's a little weird, but it's not awful. Still feels comfortable enough in hand. Nice and thick. You do feel the corners a little bit on the edges here when you're holding it in hand. So okay, ergos. Now let's talk about the Roxi 3. Doesn't look like it'd be as comfortable as it is, but you have a dedicated forward finger choil that the hand and the finger really nestle up to nicely. This scallop section allows all of my fingers to fall in there extremely comfortable. The only spot that you feel a little bit here is this line, this design line here that goes into the fuller, goes all throughout the knife. You can feel it a little bit, but it's really not sharp. They did a good job knocking it down. It is surprisingly comfortable and gives you a full grip. So this is really nice. Also a thicker knife, and both do a good job with the pocket clip. I didn't mention that on the Yeager, but both do a good job with the pocket clip to where you almost don't feel that in hand. But because it's a little bit more comfortable, and it does feel like it has better design around where the fingers go, because it has this nice neutral scallop here that goes all the way up that the fingers can all fit in when the first finger is in the forward finger choil. It feels a little bit better. I think this would do better with the flipper tab delete version, but I would still give that Ergo's win to the Roxi 3. We were talking briefly about the pocket clip. Let's go ahead and move over to the pocket clips. From a design perspective, both look very nice. I like them both a lot, but I would say that I like the little bit of extra that you have going on with the Roxi 3 and the anodized on it. It looks really good. And from a function perspective, because it does have this little diving board out past the little nub, that works really well, catches nicely and goes in and out of the pocket, whereas the one on the Yeager is a little bit thinner, and I think that might be part of the reason why it's so stiff, is because you don't have as much material in between. So this really doesn't want to come up easily, and it does bind up the pocket sometimes trying to go in and out of the pockets. So the pocket clip goes to the Roxi 3, but both have nice pocket clips. Let's just talk about looks for a second. Let's set these down, have a look at them. I think this is going to come down to personal preference, guys. The Yeager has a no-nonsense, very clean line, very cool, aggressive-looking blade on it, and the handle looks like it could be the handle off of any other titanium knife. You have a very nice utility-shaped blade on the Roxi 3, and I think the Roxi 3 stands out no matter whether or not you're looking at the blade or not. So for me, the excitement factor and the design factor, I'm giving that to the Roxi 3. For me personally, I think it looks better. If you don't like the look of the Roxi 3 and you think it is not a good looking knife, well, we can't be friends anymore. You need to stop watching my channel. I'm just kidding. I really do think that the Roxi 3 is a very good looking knife. I love the different on the design without it being too far out of left field to where you're like, is this a grommet? Like, what is this? This thing just looks completely ridiculous and I'm not carrying it. Like, I think it's a good balance of both. But that's not to say that the Yeager is an ugly knife. I think it's a nice design. It's very subdued, very clean lines, not very offensive, just a very classic look, and it looks good and it was executed well. Just in this particular comparison, I'm giving the win to the Roxi 3. Now let's talk about weight. Carry weight. This is going to be important, more so to some rather than others, but the carry weight on this knife, the Yeager, as small as it is and as small as a carry as it is, it's a 4.6 ounce knife, and I think that has something to do with the thickness, right? In the 3/4 back spacer, you know, there's a lot more going on there with the frame lock, and it is a little bit heavier than the Roxi 3, coming in at 4.25 ounces. Now those are paper weights, meaning that's what's on the website. Let's go ahead and actually weigh them and see how they do, because I think both of these came in a little bit lighter. So 4.6 is claimed on the Yeager. Oh, that's right, the backspacer's curved. Hold on. So 4.4, so definitely lighter than what its claimed weight is. 4.25, Wee's always right on point. Yeah, 4.2 versus 4.4, so a little bit lighter on the Roxi 3, but it also is a tiny bit smaller. Overall length of the Roxi 3 is 7.2 inches, whereas the Yeager is 7.6. So a little bit longer, even though, ironically, the Roxi gives you better ergos because it does give you less cutting edge and it gives you the forward finger choil. But again, I really like that, puts you right up behind it. And the plunge grind, I forgot to mention that, the plunge grind, because I talked about it on the Yeager not being a very good one. This is very much like a Spyderco. You're going to be able to take this across the stone because it's straight without any issues, and you'll be able to sharpen it. And even if you go past this and that forward finger choil guard is sticking down past the blade, all you got to do to get it back up kind of level is you just got to take a Dremel and kind of grind it down a little bit. It won't look that pretty because it's the coated version, but I mean, if you get to that point, that is a really easy fix. And again, it's going to take a while for you to sharpen that material away. Who would you pick as the winner? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear who you would pick as the winner in this particular blade battle. Do you think the Yeager looks better and that I'm wrong about the looks factor? I mean, do you think the ergos on the Yeager, if you handled both, are better and I'm wrong about that as well? Sound off in the comments down below. I'd love to hear. For me, the winner of this blade battle and the knife that I would choose to take home with me, if it isn't already obvious, it would be the Roxi 3. That's not to say that I think the Brian Brown Yeager is a bad knife. Just for this blade battle, I definitely would not turn you away from the Brian Brown Yeager. It's a great knife. Little bit more friendly towards the medium to large size hands than it is the large hands, but if you do get the one with the flipper tab delete, I think that is going to definitely make up some ground, because then you got a place to put that forward finger, and that completely changes the knife. Even if you do that with the flipper tab, it's not that bad, but it's not as comfortable as having dedicated forward finger choil. That is just really comfortable. I hope you enjoyed today's blade battle, guys. Again, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate all the support. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. If you're enjoying the content and you're not subscribed, I'm not really sure why. I mean, the videos are good, right? You liked this blade battle because you must have watched it to this point to hear this comment. So consider subscribing. If you do subscribe, don't forget to turn that notification bell to all so you don't miss any alerts, because YouTube's not very good of alerting people if you're subscribed to someone but you don't have the notification turned on. You can ignore the videos that you don't like when it notifies you that a new video has been dropped. It's not that hard to swipe to ignore. Thanks for all the support. I appreciate it. Don't forget, links, descriptions. Everything in this video is linked in the description down below. Disclaimer down below. Links to other tools and other recommended knives below. Links to websites for new arrivals and coming soon down below. Try to do all of that for you all to have easy access for this stuff. Now, I can't guarantee either one of these knives are in stock because they are fairly popular models, but I will link to some pages, but you might have to search your favorite retailer if they sell these brands. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate all the support. I hope all of you have a fantastic week, and until next time, peace.